بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على عبده ورسوله الأمين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Dear brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today's episode would be dedicated to your emails. Therefore, we will not be receiving any of your phone calls. If you have a question, you may send us an email, or if you would like, then you may postpone your phone call until further weeks, inshallah, when this program is back live on air. Sister Ashma asked a number of questions, and in a previous program we spoke about the ruling on dyeing the hair and on plucking the eyebrows. And to elaborate, the hair on the human body is one of three. Either it is mandatory to remove, or it is forbidden to remove, or it is permissible to remove. So the hair that is forbidden for a person to remove for men and women is the eyebrows. The most authentic opinion is that you cannot pluck the eyebrows, you cannot cut the eyebrows, and you cannot shave the eyebrows as well, for both men and women. And for men, it is forbidden for them to shave their beards. This is completely unacceptable in Islam. The Prophet ﷺ forbade this, and he instructed us to grow the beards for the men. And the consensus of the four schools of thought in Islam states that it is forbidden to shave the beard. The hair that is mandatory for both men and women to remove is the pubic hair, the hair that grows over the private parts, and the armpit hair. And the sunnah is to pluck the armpit hair and to shave the pubic hair. The third type of hair is the hair in the rest of your body, which the Quran nor the Sunnah told us what to do with it. So it is permissible for you to keep or to remove. This is up to you. Like the hair that grows on the arms or on the legs. But the custom is that only women remove the hair on their arms and legs, and the men would keep this. And it depends from one country to the other, from one people to the other. Sister Ashma also says or asks about the ruling on covering the face. Is it mandatory or not? And we've stated this so many times that it's an issue of dispute among scholars, and the most authentic opinion is that it is mandatory for a woman to cover her face, because this is a form of protection, not only for her, but also for the men who may be fascinated or attracted to her beauty. And also this is what the verses of the Quran and the authentic hadith all lead to. And the consensus of scholars is that the wives of the Prophet ﷺ were mandated to cover their faces. And the instruction came for also the rest of the women to cover their faces as well. Therefore, what I believe is that the most authentic opinion of scholars that a woman should cover her face from non-mahrams. So if she goes out, she has to cover her face. And this is for her protection and for the protection of the society at large. And she also asks about the ruling on reciting Fatiha when going to mazars, graveyards. Is this okay or not? Well, we have to know that a woman is not allowed to visit a graveyard. And there is a hadith where the Prophet ﷺ curses women who do this often. So scholars said that it is not permissible for a woman to visit a graveyard simply because we don't have a justification from the Quran and Sunnah. We have to do it as it is. But some scholars thought of giving some clarifications or justifications by saying this is due to the nature of women in general. They're soft-hearted, and if they visit the graveyard of a husband or of a father or of a son, they would probably cry and maybe do something that would be inappropriate for a woman to do outside of her house, and therefore it is not permissible for a woman to visit a graveyard, generally speaking. What I read in her question was going to mazar's graveyard. If I understand this correctly, in some so-called Islamic countries, they have what is known as mazar. And a mazar is a tomb that is built over a grave, and people think that this is a saint or a pious person, and they go and pray, and they may sacrifice some animals for this so-called saint, and they may put candles, and they may put forward their requests and needs in pieces of papers, and may give sacrifices of different kinds and buy things and food, etc. Such acts would be considered part of shirk that leads to associating others with Allah. Going to the graves and making tawaf, or touching them, seeking their barakah, or sacrificing for the saint, this is all shirk. These are deeds that can only be attributed to Allah Azza wa Jal. Asking the saint to facilitate things for us in this dunya, or to prevent harm from coming our way, is major shirk. Whoever does this is not a Muslim anymore, even if he prays, fasts, and performs pilgrimage, because he associated others with Allah. Allah does not forgive any forms of associating others with Him. Inna Allah la yaghfiru an yushraka bih. Allah does not forgive people who associate others with Him, and He may forgive any other sin to whomever He wishes, as stated in 2 places in the Quran. So going to such saints or to such mazar is completely prohibited for men and for women. Going to someone who's dead and asking him and telling him that I have this problem I'd like you to solve, my wife is disobedient, my son went astray, I have debts, I'm losing my job, I'm ill. Asking anyone other than Allah is shirk. If you go to a deceased, if you go to a dead person and ask him to do something for you that only Allah can do, this is considered to be major shirk, and this is not permissible at all. So going to such graveyards for men and women is not permissible. And unfortunately, a lot of the Muslims are heavily involved in such shirk. People believe in such saints, believing in calling the deceased, the dead, asking them for guidance and for help. They would swear by these so-called saints, yet they would refuse to swear by Allah Azza wa Jal. Or they would find it easy to swear by Allah and lie, rather than swearing by these saints and lie. They could never lie. And this is an indication that these are not Muslim, because they're associating others with Allah Azza wa Jal. If you go to Muslim countries, you would find priests, so-called Muslim, that are taking care of these tombs and shrines and places of worship to other than Allah Azza wa Jal. And they are the priests that take the money from the poor and telling them that your prayers would be answered, you will have a child, and your debt would be paid, and this and that. And all of this is blasphemy. You're associating others with Allah. Even if you do this, with the Prophet, Allahumma salli wa sallim alayhi. Even if you go to the grave of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, and ask him and address him, O Prophet of Allah, do this for me, do that for me, or ask Allah to do this for me or do that for me, this is shirk. Because you're asking someone to do something that only Allah can do for you. And why go to saints and to humans when you can go and turn to Allah Azza wa Jal? They say, yeah, we know that, but these saints, these pious people, they're closer to Allah. So we call them so that they could call Allah Azza wa Jal. And this is exactly what the mushrikeen of Mecca replied. When they were told, why do you worship these idols? They said, we don't worship them. We don't believe that they have life and death in their hands, or that they get the rain to fall down, or that they bring us provisions. We don't believe this, but we take them as intermediates to Allah Azza wa Jal. So it's our way to Allah through them. And Allah described them as mushrikeen, those who associate others with Allah. So this is a very major issue. It is far greater than how you pray or how you fast. It's far important, more important than committing adultery or drinking intoxicants. These are sins, major sins. But what I've just mentioned is something that annihilates Islam, that voids Islam, that cancels Islam altogether, no matter what you do, and it's something that we should take care of. I believe that we have a break. Stay tuned, and inshallah, we will be right back. Assalamu alaikum and welcome back. Umama from Saudi Arabia sent us an email saying that my husband has his own house where his parents and sisters stay, and an empty land and several flats which he has rented. Kindly advise and explain in which property does he needs to pay zakat. We've stated this before, and we've said that zakat is dependent on the category that it should be paid. So you have 4 categories that you have to pay zakat for. If you understand them, if you believe them, then you, inshallah, would not need to ask questions about